In life, communication is a crucial skill for building meaningful relationships with those around us. But how can you ensure your words don't lead to discomfort or resentment? Here are some life lessons to help you improve your communication skills. 1. Listen more than you speak. One of the most powerful ways to build strong connections and avoid being disliked is by mastering the art of listening. Often, people underestimate the value of simply being present and attentive in a conversation. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's about showing genuine interest and understanding what the other person is trying to convey. When you listen actively, you create a safe space for the other person to express themselves without fear of judgment or interruption. This not only makes them feel valued, but also shows that you respect their perspective. In contrast, dominating the conversation or constantly steering it back to yourself can make others feel unheard or unimportant. Practicing active listening involves maintaining eye contact, nodding occasionally to show engagement, and avoiding distractions like checking your phone. It also means asking thoughtful follow-up questions to clarify points or encourage the other person to share more. Phrases like, "That's interesting. Can you tell me more?" Or, "I understand. How did that make you feel?" can deepen the connection and make the other person feel truly heard. Additionally, listening more than you speak allows you to pick up on subtle cues, tone, body language, or underlying emotions that might be missed if you're too focused on what you'll say next. This awareness can help you respond in a way that aligns with the other person's needs, strengthening your relationship and minimizing misunderstandings. By listening attentively and speaking thoughtfully, you demonstrate empathy and respect, qualities that naturally make you more likable and approachable. It's a simple habit with profound effects on how others perceive and interact with you. 2. Avoid being judgmental. One of the quickest ways to alienate others is by passing judgment, whether intentionally or not. People are drawn to those who make them feel accepted, not criticized. Avoiding judgment doesn't mean agreeing with everything or abandoning your values. It means approaching situations and people with empathy and an open mind. When you're non-judgmental, you create an atmosphere of trust where others feel safe to share their thoughts and experiences. This allows for deeper connections and meaningful conversations. For instance, instead of jumping to conclusions about someone's actions or beliefs, try to understand their perspective. Asking questions like, "What led you to feel this way?" or "Can you help me understand your point of view?" can open the door to constructive dialogue. Judgment often stems from assumptions or preconceived notions. Challenging these biases can help you interact with others more fairly and compassionately. It's important to remember that everyone has unique experiences and challenges that shape their choices. By practicing humility and recognizing that you don't have all the answers, you can approach people with curiosity rather than criticism. Moreover, being judgmental can reflect insecurity or a need to assert superiority, which can push people away. Instead, focus on building relationships based on mutual respect. Acknowledge that differences don't necessarily mean someone is wrong. They simply mean there's more to learn about each other. In a world where judgment is often the norm, choosing understanding over criticism sets you apart. It fosters an environment of kindness and respect, making people feel valued and appreciated in your presence. Over time, this practice not only improves your relationships, but also enhances your ability to navigate conflicts with grace and empathy. 3. Choose your words wisely. The words you use have immense power. They can build bridges or burn them. Choosing your words wisely is a cornerstone of effective and harmonious communication. When you speak, aim to be clear, respectful, and intentional to avoid misunderstandings or unintentional hurt. Before saying something, consider its potential impact. Ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it helpful? Is it kind? This self-awareness helps you avoid impulsive comments that could be perceived as harsh or insensitive. For example, instead of saying, "You're wrong," try phrasing it as, "I see it differently. Here's why." Such adjustments can prevent defensiveness and foster open dialogue. Avoiding overly critical or sarcastic remarks is also crucial. Even if meant as humor, such comments can be misinterpreted and damage trust. Instead, focus on constructive feedback or positive reinforcement. For instance, instead of pointing out flaws, highlight strengths and then suggest improvements if needed. Tone and delivery matter as much as the words themselves. A calm and composed tone conveys respect and thoughtfulness, while an agitated or dismissive tone can make even the most benign statement sound aggressive. Practice active listening before responding, as it shows that you value the other person's input and are considering their perspective. Furthermore, avoid exaggerations like always or never, which can escalate conflicts unnecessarily. Stick to specific examples rather than broad generalizations, as this approach is more accurate and less likely to provoke defensiveness. Finally, learning to pause before responding can be a game changer. A brief moment of reflection can prevent saying something you might regret later. Remember, silence can be golden, especially when emotions are high. By choosing your words wisely, you demonstrate emotional intelligence and maturity. This not only enhances your relationships, but also ensures that your communication leaves a positive and lasting impression. 4. Control your emotions. Emotions are a natural part of communication, but letting them take control can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Mastering emotional self-control is essential for maintaining productive and respectful conversations. When you regulate your emotions, you not only convey your thoughts more effectively, but also build trust and rapport with others. In emotionally charged situations, it's tempting to react impulsively. However, reacting out of anger, frustration, or fear often leads to words or actions you might regret later. Instead, take a moment to pause and reflect before responding. Deep breaths, counting to 10, or briefly stepping away from the conversation can help you regain composure. This pause gives you time to process your feelings and approach the situation with clarity and calmness. Empathy plays a significant role in controlling emotions. Try to understand the other person's perspective before jumping to conclusions. For instance, if someone says something that irritates you, consider their intentions. Were they genuinely trying to offend you, or could it be a misunderstanding? This empathetic approach helps you respond with patience rather than defensiveness. It's also crucial to avoid letting small irritations snowball into larger conflicts. If a conversation starts to feel heated, focus on finding solutions rather than dwelling on the problem. Statements like, "Let's work through this together," can shift the tone from confrontational to collaborative. Nonverbal cues, such as body language and tone, also reflect your emotional state. Crossing your arms, raising your voice, or rolling your eyes can convey hostility, even if your words are neutral. Pay attention to these signals and aim to align your demeanor with a calm and open attitude. Finally, remember that controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It's about channeling them constructively. For example, expressing your feelings with statements like, "I feel frustrated because," can help others understand your perspective without feeling attacked. By managing your emotions, you set the tone for respectful and productive communication. This not only earns the respect of others, but also allows you to navigate challenging situations with grace and confidence. 5. Show humility. Humility is one of the most powerful traits you can exhibit in your conversations. It fosters mutual respect and makes you more approachable and relatable to others. People are naturally drawn to those who demonstrate humility, as it signals openness and a willingness to learn rather than arrogance or self-importance. Being humble doesn't mean undervaluing yourself or your opinions. Instead, it means recognizing that you don't have all the answers and that everyone, regardless of status or expertise, has something valuable to contribute. When you acknowledge this, you create a space where others feel respected and safe to express themselves. A key aspect of humility is admitting when you're wrong. It's not always easy, but owning up to your mistakes shows strength of character and earns the trust of those around you. Instead of deflecting blame, saying something like, "You're right, I could have handled that better," can transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for growth and understanding. Listening attentively to others, even when you don't fully agree with their viewpoints, also reflects humility. Instead of interrupting or dismissing their ideas, seek to understand their perspective. Phrases like, "That's an interesting point, can you tell me more?" show that you value their input, which helps build rapport and deepen connections. Humility also involves resisting the urge to boast or dominate conversations. Instead of constantly highlighting your achievements, focus on celebrating others' successes. For example, acknowledging someone else's hard work or unique insight fosters goodwill and shows that you aren't solely centered on yourself. Finally, humility allows you to stay open to feedback. Accepting constructive criticism with grace demonstrates self-awareness and a commitment to personal growth. Responses like, "Thank you for pointing that out, I'll work on it," show that you're willing to improve and learn from others. In essence, showing humility enriches your interactions by creating an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding. It's a subtle yet profound way to leave a positive impression and build meaningful relationships. 6. Keep your promises. Keeping your promises is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to earn trust and respect in any relationship. When you follow through on your commitments, you demonstrate reliability, integrity, and consideration for others. Conversely, breaking promises, even unintentionally, can quickly erode trust and harm your reputation. A promise, no matter how small, represents a bond of trust between you and the other person. Whether it's showing up on time, completing a task you agreed to, or simply keeping a secret, honoring your word shows that you value the relationship. For instance, if you tell a friend you'll help them move or promise a colleague you'll finish your part of a project by a certain deadline, following through proves you're dependable. Being realistic about your capabilities is a critical part of keeping promises. Don't overcommit or make promises out of politeness if you know you can't fulfill them. It's better to say, "I'll do my best, but I might need more time," than to risk letting someone down later. People respect honesty more than empty assurances. When circumstances change and you can't keep a promise, communicate early. Explain the situation, apologize sincerely, and offer an alternative solution. For example, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to finish this by Friday, but I can have it ready by Monday. Does that work for you?" This shows accountability and a willingness to make things right. Consistency is another crucial factor. Keeping promises over time builds a solid track record of reliability, making people more inclined to trust you in larger matters. On the flip side, repeated failures to honor commitments, even small ones, can make people doubt your sincerity and dependability. Ultimately, keeping your promises is about more than just fulfilling obligations. It's about showing respect for the time, trust, and expectations of others. It strengthens your relationships and reflects your integrity, leaving a lasting impression of someone who is trustworthy and dependable. Communication is not just about the words you use. It's about making others feel respected, valued, and understood. By adopting these habits, you'll not only avoid being disliked, but also cultivate stronger, more meaningful connections.